is a quorum, I believe. And somebody who's calling in,
Oh,
who's the other person calling in?
the caller with.
That's me. Karen?
Oh, okay. Karen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me then, it is 7:30. Let me call the meeting to order. Are you ready, Dan?
I am. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from September 23rd. And I think Danny sent those out this afternoon, right?
Yes.
That's correct. And Renee had a comment there. I'm sorry, Renee, I didn't get back to you on that, but
Yeah, so I just wanted to make the tree resolution a little bit more clear. And I'm trying to find it right now. It didn't say that it passed, which I think we should include. And it should also, in my opinion, say, spell out exactly what we passed, so it doesn't have to refer back to the text. Danny, do you have it in front of you?
let me just,
Renee, it does speak. There was a vote. It says DK made a motion and RV seconded the recommendation to the subcommittee that trees and open space areas in the town's parks be included in the regulations. That was the
but
motion.
Renee's correct, though. It didn't say what would happen with that motion. So that was one recommendation. He said to add to say the motion was passed unanimously.
And the other thing I basically what I wanted to, Danny, if you have it in front of you, can you read it the way I phrased it so I don't have to look for it?
Sure, I can read it. Just looking to see the difference here. Hold on one second, okay? Just looking at your email. Well, I'll read Renee's email here. He recommended saying DK made a motion and RV seconded the recommendation to the town council and tree ordinance subcommittee that the trees in open space areas and the town's parks be included in the tree ordinance. And then Renee recommended adding it passed unanimously, which I can say yes, I can add something like the vote was taken and it was passed unanimously.
That's fine with me. Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make that change.
Thank you.
Sure.
I have one other
thanks for your suggestion.
Jonathan, go ahead.
So at the very end, in the notice about the special meeting, I don't know whether this really matters or not, but the purpose of the special meeting was not so much to discuss, as it says, trail usage by bicycles, but a specific proposal by MCBC for a bicycle trail in Sworage Park.
It's probably, if that's
I think it's okay the way it is, but
about trail usage, or well, we can say that. I'm sorry, it was to say discuss a
proposed mountain biking trail in Sworage Park.
It was actually three different proposals. They didn't have just one. They had.
The proposal had several alternatives, but we can just say the proposal.
How about to discuss proposals for a mountain bike trail in Sworage Park?
Perfect.
Okay. I actually had a thought if I could impose this point, and that's on the tree ordinance, the resolution or the motion we passed on the tree ordinance. How are we communicating that to the council and to the subcommittee? Are we actually sending them a copy of our minutes, or are we writing them a letter, or?
Well, Alexis participated in the meeting, and I was presuming that she was carrying our intention back to the subcommittee and the council.
Right, but I mean, we passed a motion So I mean, I'm just wondering if we should actually include that into like a correspondence and submit it to the subcommittee. I mean, I don't know. Is that normal or is that something we should be doing?
Well, I think we should submit it to town council and the subcommittee. Just, maybe by email, just maybe from the chair or from the co-chairs saying that the Open Space Committee passed this resolution, and just send them that. So that's it.
Well, that's separate from the minutes here, so let's get the minutes taken care of.
Okay, any more comment, discussion on the minutes? Do I hear a motion?
I move
Move
that we
the
approve
minutes.
the minutes as
Second.
amended.
Okay. Kathy, can you just repeat that motion because you were kind of stepped on?
I move to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay, and Renee
I
seconded.
second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. So I guess I'll save that question for the open time. So the next agenda item is a treasurer's report.
Okay. The checking has $622. The savings has $67,968. The fund
And Kathy, can I just, the last three digits, 67, 9,
968.
thank you.
The fund checking has 200 and the fund has $220,041. We spent money, we bought tabs for the mailing. So that came to $107, and the calendar we paid for our half, and that was $1,372. So our grand total, $288,831. And we're down about $1,248 because of our expenses.
Okay. Anything on the treasurer's report before we move on? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is a proposal to spend $83.15 for additional expenses related to the calendar project. Does anyone have
So I can
any
make
more
a
information?
report.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Jonathan here. So at our last meeting during open time, we discussed the website that's connected with the calendar that they're setting up that has photos and more content. And it was a consensus to agree to help pay the web hosting cost for that, our half of which was $46. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Jonathan, go ahead.
And then Susan had purchased envelopes for mailing and delivering the calendars. And our share of the cost, half of that, is $37.15 for a combined total of $83.15. So up till now, Susan has paid for that out of pocket, and she would like it if we could reimburse her for our half of those two expenses. So that's what's being proposed.
All right. Any discussion needed on this agenda item?
How long does the hosting last for, Jonathan?
I believe till January.
Just January. Oh.
Yeah. I'm not certain of this, but I think in January it's going to switch to a different web hosting service where there won't be a fee. I think that's what's planned.
Okay. I think the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the additional expenditures as itemized by Jonathan.
I second it.
Okay. Properly moved and seconded. Anybody have a discussion on the motion? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed signify by nay. Okay, the ayes have it. Moving on to the,
Oh, can you have Jonathan forward me the information, who I pay the money to?
I will definitely do that, Kathy.
Okay.
And Jonathan, can I also ask, what was it? It was $83 and what was the change?
15 cents.
Thank you.
okay, moving on to the next agenda item, which is to discuss the implementation of an online payment for fundraising calendar. Do you want to take the lead on this, Jonathan, or?
I can start this discussion. So I'm very pleased to report to everybody that the calendars are printed and delivered. I have a box full of them. They look absolutely beautiful, and I think they did it. You know, they did a nice job printing them. I'm very impressed with Kate Benton's design work on it, and I think it'll be a really nice item for us to sell. The problem is that we don't have any way for people to pay for them online. And Susan Pascal Barron, chair of the Fairfax Open Space Committee, has very generously volunteered to fulfill any orders that we would receive. So our task is to find a way and implement a method for potential purchasers to pay for them online. As we speak, our newsletter is being printed also. And in that newsletter, just as a placeholder, I put to purchase the calendar to go to the website, to the San Anselmo Open Space Committee website, but there's nothing there yet. And Kathy generously volunteered to be a contact, so her phone number is attached to it. But, really, to market these effectively, we need to have some way for people to pay with a credit card online. So what I'm really hoping is that somebody on the committee will step up and just take this on as a project and implement it. Stan and I have had several conversations about this, and, as we all know, there's various ways of doing this. He researched a little bit the Facebook payment platform, which seems like it might be the easiest, although like everything, there's a cost to it. But anyway, that's the situation. So I guess we can, if anybody has knowledge of one method that's superior to another or that's easier to implement, that's fantastic. And what would really be great is if somebody would volunteer just to take the whole thing on and implement it.
What about our web designer? Can we just get her to add that?
Well, she can, if we give her the code and everything, she can place it on the website, but she can't set it up. We have to, track down what method of payment we want to use and, find out how that is installed, and then we could give it to her.
Peter has his hand up. You're gonna have to unmute your button first. Peter, you have to unmute.
Hit just space bar. Hold down your space bar.
Lower left corner.
Or on your keyboard, the space bar.
And she doesn't know.
I think there's another way to go off mute. I think if you press Alt and A, Alt is the second most button, farthest left down on the keyboard. It's right next to Control. It's to the right of Control, and then if you press Alt with A, usually it goes off mute. But that's just with the Chromebook.
Okay. So I think Jonathan, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, in this discussion, we need a bank. We need to have some financial institution, PayPal or a bank that will take these deposits, right? To take these point of sale, the money from the point of sale. And we have this account with Union Bank. I think they should be able to take these online purchases with a checking account. I mean, that just doesn't, it seems that they should be able to do that.
I think that's
Nancy?
true.
I'm not volunteering, but I do want to say that we may be using this feature for people to make donations for other things in the future. So it would be really good to set this up so that we can use it other times.
Yeah, the problem is we have a time crunch right now because the newsletter's the calendar's got to be sold before the start of the new year. And the newsletter we're going to be mailed. That's the next agenda item. We're going to be mailing them out here shortly. So
I can
Peter, are you
report
with
that
us?
while we're waiting, if you don't mind, I can report that Fairfax Open Space Committee's already sold over 60 of them.
Yeah.
And Susan just took some to the Nevados farmers market. Didn't sell tremendously well. I think she sold 6 or 7 there, but yeah, they're already selling them, and people are buying them in quantities. The Fairfax Park and Rec Commission bought a whole bunch to include in gift baskets they make for elders. Several council people bought quantities of them. So they're already well on their way.
Yeah, well, we got to start marketing them. Hey, Peter, if you just push on the space bar on your keyboard.
So while Peter's doing that, who is checked up on,
There you
I
go.
know
Can you
PayPal
hear me
has
now?
oh,
Yes.
there you go. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, it came up on the board unmute, so I did that. All right, I just had a question. This payment situation, is this a combined effort or is this just San Anselmo or both towns handling the payments together?
Just San Anselmo. We're doing it separately.
Yeah,
Why,
Isn't there-
why are we doing it separately?
Why?
Fairfax is already set up with theirs.
Let's just use theirs. We're just splitting.
It's complicated financially. Their finances go through the town accounting, the town of Fairfax accounting system, and we don't want our money to get tangled up in town of Fairfax accounts and accounting. It's just no way.
Jonathan, the agreement that we had or that we passed was that we would share all of the revenues between all the calendar sales equally. So at the end of the day, they just need to send us a check for half of the amount. So why not just use their payment method and ask them?
Because they don't want us to.
Because we can't, Renee. Nancy, go ahead.
Well, I'm a little confused because I thought that the artist could sell it through the website, and then would it go to Fairfax or to us if the artist markets it?
That's something else, Nancy. That's the online exhibit of additional photography that's on that website that we're helping host.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Well-
let me ask, who's looked into PayPal? I don't know what's involved there. Well, the system works. I know there's a fee, but it can't be that complicated. I mean, millions of people use it. Or what are the pros and cons if everybody knows that?
Well, I mean, it's a service for payment, but not necessarily for selling items. I mean, it'd be nice to have a PayPal account if you're trying to sell items because it's easier for people to pay for them. But You need like a store somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't we have a link? That's what we need to look into. Obviously, I don't know the logistics. I could check with a guy. Let me see if I can check with somebody who does
Maybe-
websites and,
I might be able to check with Park and Rec too to see if they sell anything, because maybe they already have something and we could just set it up for the calendar.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a PayPal account because I work with clients remotely. And the drawback to PayPal is it's rather expensive.
Right.
They take like 5%, depending on what you are, between 4 and 6% of every sale.
you could add that on to the cost.
Well,
yeah, there's always a button to, do you want to add a tip on for the fee? But you probably get about 20 to 50%, whatever people doing that, who knows?
Do we know what Fairfax is using to sell them? Do you know how they're, like what platform they're going through?
I personally don't.
Well, there's two issues. One is having a financial institution that can actually take your money. And the other is putting the point of sale software, the interface, on your website. Those are like two separate things.
Or, as you said, Stan, we could sell through Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook has, again, I looked at Facebook briefly and we have a Facebook account. They have two mechanisms for selling. One is through their process, and again, they take a cut. They take a percentage like PayPal. And the other is if you set up like a store, like an eBay kind of store, and they take a smaller percentage for allowing you to use their platform.
So but the only thing is, Stan, for Facebook, whether you need to be a Facebook member in order to buy a calendar through them?
No, I don't think so. I think you just have you have to go to the Facebook page.
Right.
Right.
does the buyer need to have a Facebook account?
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Well, it's complicated.
Yeah, I believe you
Including
do.
myself, I don't have an account.
Right. And I bet you our demographics don't include, not many people do have Facebook accounts.
Nancy's got her hand up, but we have about 400 people who have friended us on Facebook.
I would rather not use Facebook for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
But I'm
Me
wondering if
too.
our bank might be able to help us out on this. If they might have a mechanism within their system.
Well, it's just a matter of the routing. It's just a matter of whether they allow you to do that and what kind of fees they charge for you to do it.
I think what might happen is that the bank, whoever's setting it up will ask for the bank account number, and so they route the money directly to the bank. It's not, the bank doesn't have anything to do with it. They just, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's complicated though. People have to give their bank debit number and all that. I don't know.
Well, that's
Is there-
a credit card number.
It's a credit card, yeah.
Yeah. Is there no way to work this thing with Fairfax? I mean, right now the calendars are for sale, and just getting this set up is going to take some time, even if we're successful. Is there no way to work this together with Fairfax and figure some kind of final accounting? Because this is all
No,
pretty
Peter.
redundant.
No, see, their finances are completely different than ours. Whereas the San Anselmo Open Space Committee we're independent financially. We have our own bank accounts, and we have our own treasurer, and all that. Fairfax is entirely through the town of Fairfax. It's through their general fund, and it's all, everything has to go through a process with town staff there. And I think that we really want to avoid getting entangled in that.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that, what I suggested was just provide the link that they have for the payment. And, they have to give us, by agreement, they already have to give us half of the money they're collecting.
No. Renee, you got it wrong. We're doing this completely independently. So we are getting 375, we got 750 calendars. We are receiving 375, and it's our responsibility to sell the 375, and they're going to sell their 375. So we're not like combining forces on marketing and selling.
Well, how about
That's
just,
not what I'm saying, Jonathan. I'm saying that the agreement that I remember we voted on says that we split the proceeds half. It doesn't matter how many we sell. If we don't sell any, we still get half the proceeds from the Fairfax sales.
Oh, no.
No.
No. No, it's like we just bought 375 calendars, and it's up to us to sell them. We're not going to get half of their proceeds at all.
Peter, you were saying?
yeah, well, I was wondering, maybe we should just do the marketing through our website and through the newsletter and say, if you want to order a calendar, here is, order it through the website, or, send it to the Open Space Committee and with a check.
Yeah, this is not rocket science. Millions of people collect money, payments online. This is not that difficult to do.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead, Danny.
No, I'm sorry. I interrupted you, Stan. Go ahead. I
I
apologize.
was just saying, we just need a financial institution, and we have an account with Union Bank. We just got to make sure that they can take electronic deposits, and then it's a matter of going to either one of our Kate Benton or the web designer and say, put a point of sale button software on our website, and we'll start collecting money through there. It can be done in a matter of a couple of hours.
Well, we also need to get information from the purchaser of their address, where they want it mailed, and also we have to find out where they want to pick it up. We need a drop-off point.
That's in
People
that
want
interface. That's the point of sale interface. Those are all the questions that go through that when you make the sale.
Yeah, but how do we create that?
Okay. I just sent an email to a guy who does web design. He's very sophisticated. Let me find out a little bit about it from him. If he doesn't have a good idea, I'll get back to you on this. I think we're spinning our wheels. Obviously, what we need is someone to follow up on it and get ideas. And we're not going to settle it tonight, but we need to get it done. So let's see what information I get from him. And if there's not an easy solution, I can follow up with Union Bank. I don't think Union Bank's not going to be able to do anything. All they have is an account. They don't deal with this. They have an account. They have our account, and we can have money sent to it, but I doubt they're going to have much. But I can check with them afterwards if I don't get information from this person.
Well, do you have online access to the Union Union Bank account?
No, I do not.
I do.
Yeah, so you can log on to and see all the transactions as they come in.
Yeah,
So then they should be able to take electronic deposit.
I think so.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
but it's not so easy, Stan. It's just saying, yes, they can take electric, but you'd have to give them the routing number. You have to give them, they have to create a link. And obviously you want to make it as easy as possible for payment. So let's see what I can find. And then we'll have to talk by phone afterwards, unless you have other ideas and someone else wants to look into it, but I'll look into it.
okay. I'm just saying that the point of sale interface on the website is not that difficult to do to someone that designs websites, because it's done all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm suggesting that I don't know if the gal who did our website has the technical chops to do that, but I know Kate Benton, who is the graphic designer that did the calendars and our websites, can do that. And you have a friend, Danny, or somebody that knows how to do that. All we have to have is access to the website, and then they just change it. They just put it up.
Yeah, I think we're
Well, I
talking to our
checked
web designer. She'll know how to do it.
I checked in with Nancy Nichols. I unfortunately had phone tag. Nancy Nichols designed our website and is the one that has the access to it. And it's been so long since we've done anything, she had to go and check and make sure if she could still access it, and she can. But Nancy's sort of retired, and I don't know that she's really able to enable the thing that we're talking about.
Well, then she just needs to give us the access to the website.
I can try, yeah.
We own it. We have to have access to it.
Yeah.
I have access to it.
Okay.
Did you ask Nancy if she could add this pay feature?
I haven't been able to talk to her yet. We've been trading voicemails. But I've informed, I mean, I left her a message and I've written her in emails and told her what we're up to, what we need to do.
All right, so does anybody else want to look into other alternatives while we're discussing this? Seems like we
We'll
have
look
to,
into the alternative of accepting checks. They can send the money to me.
Well, and the other thing
Okay.
Jonathan talked about is maybe, I mean, Elise is here. I don't know how much we want to burden the staff, but putting a stack in town hall and putting them up for sale there.
Oh, yeah, I think we wanted to do that. Right, Jonathan?
I feel
Yeah.
like that wouldn't be too difficult for us to do. I have to ask, but seems like that's something, if it's I'll ask, for sure.
And also, that could be convenient as a pickup point for people that pay online if they don't save us having to put them through the mail.
Or maybe town books.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Offering them a commission for each one they sell as well.
So just so everybody knows, we're kind of bumping up. We decided on a price of $20 per calendar, which is kind of at the high end, I think, of what people pay for calendars. We agreed to add $5 shipping for people that want to have them mailed. And it breaks down, it's actually cost $2 to mail them, and it's another, the envelope itself is 15 cents. So it's going to cost us, out of pocket, $2.15 to mail them. Plus somebody has to package them and take them to the post office and all that. Then we decided to discount quantities. So if one was to buy, let's see, 5 of them, they'll be $18. If you're going to buy 10 of them, they're $15 each.
Okay, just to get a handle on this agenda item, Danny, you are going to reach out to your friend that designs webs, has the technical chops to do this.
right.
And you're going to follow up then with Kathy to make sure that, because she has access online to the Union Bank account. Renee has access to the website. You have all the login information to get access to where the source code is, Renee?
I do. I don't know how to
Okay.
change it, but I have the access.
Well, we don't want to touch that website without at least letting Nancy know.
Well, if you said, we have to get this up there, that's the only way to do it. You have to put the code for the point of sale onto the website, onto the source.
Right. If we give her the information, she can just do it.
Not really. Peter, you had your hand up?
Is this a taxable transaction?
No.
No, Jonathan, it's not something you can just give to the web person and say, here, put this on. Somebody has to actually work with the source code, the HTML code on the fly to make sure it works in real time and to fix any bugs. It's not a one and done thing.
I mean, if she's our web designer, I bet she can do this in a half an hour. If she's not, if she's retired, then we need to find a web designer to add this.
Yeah.
But once we figure out what it is we want to do, I will, coordinate with Nancy to implement it.
Well, we want to accept credit cards.
Well, you need a point.
Exactly.
It's not just that. It's a point of sale because you have to get the name of the buyer, shipping information, credit card information, right? I mean, it's a standard business website interface. It's people do it all the time.
So she ought to be able to do it easily.
PayPal.
Maybe not. If she doesn't have any experience in it, maybe not.
Okay, I think we're debating something we don't know. So why don't we just, Jonathan needs to discuss it with her. and contact her. I will check with the web designer. And if there's anything else, if someone wants to check with Union Bank, if they can assist in any manner, but I don't think there's much more we need to do on this, or we can do.
Do we need any, do we need to motion anybody here so we can act, or?
When do we need this done by?
We need it in place by the time we mail the newsletters.
And when's the newsletter going to be ready?
That's the next thing on the agenda.
Soon.
Approximately when, Jonathan? What's our goal? What's our target?
I believe that they'll arrive from the printer by midweek next week. So that's like the 28th.
Good.
Yeah, soon. And the web designer hasn't responded to your emails and your calls, right, Jonathan? How long have you been trying to get a hold of her?
No, we've just not talked directly. We've had phone tag going on.
Well, we've got a week to figure it out.
Well, no, we have more time. When are we actually, I mean, we're not going to send them out next week.
No.
That's the next thing on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can pass this for the moment and move on to the next agenda item, set the mailing party, and then revisit this if we need to have further discussion. So let's pass on this agenda item for the moment and move on to the next agenda item, which is the mailing party for the newsletter.
So, if I might, should I just take this one, Stan?
Sure. When do you say that we'll have them on the 28th?
I believe so. I haven't gotten a firm ETA, but that's generally about when they should arrive. They're going to be shipped to Brian's house. We're getting 1,500 as usual, but this time they're going to be printed on a better paper, on a glossy white paper, so the photos will look a lot better. And since everybody saw it, Kathy made a review, and we added a few more changes, and Kate spruced up some things on the background screen. I mean, it really looks great. So the challenge here is we've got COVID-19 and how we're going to handle preparing the mailing. So I think we have two options. One is to try to actually do it in person, out of doors, well spaced, or as Kathy suggested, everybody takes 100 of everything home and does them at home.
100.
We'll have to figure out a way to distribute all the parts, the newsletter, the envelope, the insert envelope, and the tabs, and the mailing address labels to everybody.
Well, it'll be a little more than 100. There's what?
There's 11 members, and there's about 1,400 newsletters.
No.
A few, maybe 120 each. I mean, I'm for doing it in person outside somewhere myself. Just do it in one fell swoop, but I don't exactly know how to engineer that and how to make it safe.
Well,
And it might be windy and you need lots of tables and room to
Mhm.
work in.
that's true.
And there's a lot of room at Memorial Park where we usually have our meeting there by the log cabin. There's quite a few tables.
Yeah, that's what I was going to recommend if that was available still. And we'd have to bring probably tablecloths or something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lights. It gets dark pretty early, and it gets really dark.
No, it'd have to be done on the weekend.
I think so.
But then you're also kind of mixing handling things, which is not supposed to be good as well. So
Can I ask a question, Elise, from you?
Sure.
Does the town staff, do you have any kind of direction or prohibition on any kind of group meetings like this, or would it be okay to meet as a group, observing, you know, of course, distancing and all that?
Yeah, we can't encourage people to meet in groups. If you were meeting outside and just keeping socially distanced, I don't think you'd get in trouble, but we're not encouraging any meetings.
Nancy, go ahead.
You know, I was wondering about offering my back garden. I don't know whether we could have separate tables. I agree with Kathy. We'd have to not pass them from one to the other the way we have, but do a bunch of them, and then you keep them organized and separated. I mean, I've got some of you have been to my garden. There's a back area that there could be several big tables, and one closer to the house and maybe one by the front door. I don't know. Those of you who've been to my house, any ideas on that?
If you have enough tables.
Backyard.
Huh?
A beautiful backyard. I've seen it, yeah.
But I'm thinking we might be able to have a couple of separate areas and maybe even one or two indoors with separate people with the windows open. I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah. No, I think Marin County has moved into the red, which actually allows limited indoor office activity. I think it's like 25%. I mean, I'm in Alameda. I've been going to work. I mean, the courts are open. I've been going back to court. So, you know, everybody's properly masked. It's you know, we haven't had any problems at all. It's people that catch COVID at home with family members. That's been the problem with that we've
Yeah,
had.
I don't have a big house, but I might be able to.
No, outdoors as long as it's not raining. Yeah.
It's never gonna rain.
No, I think outdoors, if everybody's properly masked, you got a good mask, we keep as far apart as we can. I don't think we're gonna have a problem.
And not pass things to each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Minimal.
that's fine. I'll just have to have lots of trays.
Yeah. So the question is when? The weekend,
Well, I think,
the 28th is Halloween.
No,
What about the idea of doing it on a weekend, like say Saturday the 31st?
that's Halloween.
Oh, well, not during the day.
It is for some of us.
Oh.
I have plans all day.
Yeah, I'll be gone that day.
How about November 1st, Sunday?
I'm free then.
Me too.
That's good.
Sure. Henry,
Daylight savings time ends then.
I'm good
Keep that in
then.
mind.
Let's do it on the 1st.
Okay.
okay. What time?
Maybe as many people that could bring their own folding table would be useful, so we can have a lot of different stations.
Okay. So what time?
Prefer the
house, Nancy.
afternoon or morning? About like 4 o'clock.
It's daylight savings time ending, so it's
Oh,
gonna.
that's right. So have to be like 3 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock works.
Okay, good for me.
Excellent. So anything else? Everybody going to be there? We're going to send an email out to the group.
So it's gonna be in my garden and house?
Yeah.
Okay, and I also have that thing if we need it.
What's
Because I've
that?
got that stored in my basement.
Oh, our canopy.
The canopy.
Oh, great.
Peter,
I may
you,
not be able to come.
why?
I'm maybe out of town.
Okay.
Hey, Nancy, what's your address on Grove?
36 Grove Lane.
Thank you.
And I request that people not park on Grove Lane. I'll keep 2 spaces in my driveway, but it's a really narrow street and people get in trouble because they park and then someone else parks and people can't get through. So park on San Rafael Avenue or San Anselmo Avenue.
Okay,
Oh, sorry, never mind. Sorry.
okay, backtracking to the prior agenda item about the online payments. Now that we have a firm date that these things are going to be mailed out, probably within a few days after November 1st, right?
Mhm.
And then it takes how many days for them to start being received?
2 or 3 days, 1 to 3 days.
So we
That's
don't,
also right around the election. The post office will be flooded with ballots.
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah,
I
we-
want to wait till to mail them till after the 3rd.
Yes.
absolutely.
okay,
So yeah, so that usually, even in San Anselmo, it takes about a week for them to be delivered.
okay. But going back to the online function, actually being able to take electronic payment and orders.
So I'm looking at the Fairfax Open Space Committee donate site, and they link to a PayPal account. So, I mean, I think it's doable. Just have to set it up. I mean, otherwise, if there's some other way to do it with the bank, I don't know any way to do that, but.
What my father does is he says, add 6% if you want to pay by PayPal. And if they don't, then they send a check. And then you have to have a code to get into your PayPal account, and you move that money into a designated checking account as you want, is how I've done it.
Yeah.
With PayPal.
Yeah.
But we have a checking account. It should be able to go right into the checking account without PayPal taking a fee.
Uh-huh.
I don't think you can do that.
I know very little about PayPal, but I think if you send person to person, email to email, there's no fee.
That's
But I
correct.
think for other kinds of business transactions, there is.
Well,
If I could jump in here, please. This is Jonathan. This is what I was afraid of. I was hoping that somebody amongst us would have some deeper knowledge of all this, but obviously we don't. So since Danny has volunteered to check in with his source, and maybe we can, if you would accept the task, Danny, kind of get the information together and send us an email, that would be really great.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Hopefully, I sent an email to this guy already. He lives on the border of San Anselmo and Fairfax. He's very environmentally oriented, so hopefully he'll be able to help us here, but I can't guarantee it, but I will follow up. After
If he'll
I get
help
the
us,
information.
give him a calendar, free calendar for helping us.
Okay, I'll tell him. So once I hear from him, I'll send an email out to everybody and let you
Great.
know what I found, and then see what else we can do if they don't have a good solution there.
Great.
Fantastic. Thank you.
and
Thank you so
Jonathan,
much. Yes.
I would just suggest call Kate Benton and ask her. She will tell you what it's required to make this happen. Because I know she's done it before. She actually did the website for my law office years ago. So
Okay. I can do that.
So she should be able to tell you what's involved in getting a point of sale feature on a website.
Right.
Yep.
And if I might, for the benefit of everybody on the committee, because none of you have had the experience I've had of working with this person, Kate Benton, who's the designer who's did the calendar and all of our graphics. This gal is incredible. We are so lucky. She's enthusiastic, incredibly responsive. I send her all these edits and changes and get a revised version in hours. nothing but helpful, and she's appreciative of what we do. So just to let you know that we really have a gem here in this designer.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Anything else on this agenda item before we move on?
I have a quick
Yeah,
question.
actually-
Yes,
Go
Danny?
ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
that's
Dan.
fine. The question is whether we should, since we have everybody together here, pass a motion to authorize up to a certain amount for a fee. For example, if PayPal requires a 6% fee or whatever it might be, whether we should make a motion to approve that now so that we can at least have that and don't have to, have a separate meeting for this or something else to authorize that.
If we go ahead and have them add that 6% to the price, then it doesn't seem like you need to do that, right?
But it's an optional thing for people usually.
Oh, well, you can say, please add and make, it's not optional. You just-
It sounds pretty complicated to me too, this way, that way. I mean, we've got a lot of layers of complication. I'd like to just leave it one price, maybe raise the price by $1 or something.
Well, just so you know, the total cost to us for the calendars is roughly about $4. So we are actually making $16 per calendar at $20, which is pretty good.
Well, that is if we sell them.
Yeah.
They have a limited shelf life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go door to door selling these.
Nope.
Peter, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I may have missed it, but what's the physical fulfillment of these calendars? How are we getting them to the buyers?
We're either going to mail them if they request and pay for shipping, or we're going to have a drop-off point where people can pick them up. Maybe that will be town hall, or maybe town books, or maybe someplace else that we find.
Okay.
Or we
Way
can from door to door.
So Susan, who's the chairman of the Fairfax Open Space Committee, has had people coming to her house to pick them up, and they've been doing it.
Nancy?
I'm thinking that we might put something in front of the town hall, like for an hour or morning on a Saturday, which would raise interest in open space and possibly sell calendars that way. I would do that one morning on a weekend.
Good idea.
Good idea.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Jonathan's got 375 in his garage. Okay, Danny, did you want to make a motion before we move on?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the use of PayPal or other payment system that might have a fee of up to 6% of the price to enable us to, adopt an online payment system.
I second it.
Okay, Kathy. Do we need anybody have questions on the motion?
No.
We're happy with the motion. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. One more agenda item, the email. We're losing Yahoo Group. So it's discuss changing email account for groups due to cancellation by provider.
Are we talking about the Yahoo account that I set up? Because
Yes.
it's not a group account. It's just, I set it up under the first name San Anselmo, and then open space is the second name. So it was never a group account.
Okay. So you have how many email addresses in that on your address book there?
I think about 150 or so.
Okay. So I think Danny actually had the best idea. There are free bulk email programs like MailChimp is one. And they offer free use of their services up to 2,000. I think I checked MailChimp today. It was up to 2,000 email addresses. So we could migrate over to MailChimp. I think Elise and the town has given us a town email address. So we can send them out with a town email address using like this MailChimp program to like email out our newsletter to everybody on our email list.
Good, okay.
And Constant Contact is another good one. I remember looked into a couple of them.
So it's just a matter of who will take on the responsibility of migrating over the address book from the one to the other, setting up the account and then doing it. And
I wonder if that's something Paul Fox needs to do. He was the one that was into that.
well, Paul and Henry
Correct.
were looking at that.
He what? Paul said what?
Paul and Henry were looking at that. I don't, do we still have Henry on the meeting here? Does he have anything to report?
Henry? Uh-oh.
Yes, hi, sorry. I have been having some shaky internet and I think I kind of went out for a second. Can you maybe repeat what you guys were saying?
Well, have you and Paul done anything on getting the email, the open space email account up and running?
I don't think Paul and I have started up on anything.
Okay. Okay. So that's actually something that I can take on fairly easily. I can set up, I was looking at MailChimp and it seems to be a pretty good program. So all I need then is access to Kathy to the Yahoo account so I can migrate over the address book,
Okay,
email addresses. And then when we're ready to send out this newsletter, I'll just send out an electronic version of the newsletter to everybody on the list.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll get you the latest PDF of the newsletter,
yeah, of course.
final one.
Nancy, you had your hand up?
I was going to say, thinking more about this idea of selling calendars like on a Saturday morning, you know, the Garden Exchange didn't have any meetings Saturday morning. If we could use that time, we might be able to add more people to our email list and expand the newsletter by letting them know that they can get a PDF of it if they sign up, and they might buy a calendar too.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole idea that Paul and Henry were working on, is to slowly migrate away from having to create all these paper copies and these mailing parties and just send out a big email blast. And we want a big email list in case we get into a fundraising situation where, you know, we're trying to buy a property. We want to let everybody know, hey, we have this going on.
I can contact Paul if you want me to. Since I'm kind of new to this committee, I was thinking that I could kind of let Paul kind of take the lead on this to kind of, I don't know, kind of ingratiate myself into the task and try to kind of ingratiate myself into this committee, kind of in a way that I can kind of understand how this is going on, how this is to be set up, like the email and the Yahoo stuff, and how we are able to reach out to the community.
Well, Paul gets busy. That's, you know, he's in a business where when he has work, he's on deadline. He doesn't have time for anything else. So I'm willing to step in and to set this up right now. So if you want to help me, Henry, that would be great.
If you need help, I can definitely help you out if you need me to.
Good.
Great, thanks.
Kathy, just curious, as a matter of just the email list, do you have all our emails on that list too? Just, you might as well have them. Do you know?
The committee members?
Yeah.
Some of the older ones, I haven't been adding the new people on there because we were sort of letting it die, so. But
Okay, well, Stan, either you or Kathy, I'd suggest it can't hurt to have our names on that email list too and receive
Yeah.
emails when they're distributed.
Yeah, of course. That way we know they're going out.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, well, that sounds good.
And I'll put all the town committee members on it too.
I'm just trying to think what published places we have the Yahoo account listed, like where people will find it on what publications.
Yeah.
It might be on our website. I don't know.
Okay, that's it for the agenda. We have open time now.
Okay, Stan, can I jump in here? Jonathan?
Yeah, jump.
I don't want to prolong the meeting too much, but I'm very pleased to preliminarily report that it looks like the conservation easement for the spring lot on Bald Hill is moving forward. Most has been having some successful negotiations with the owners, and it's moving towards the donation of a conservation easement.
Right,
Very good news.
right, yeah. And how about the water rights? I was always interested in the water rights on the spring lot.
That's subject of some title research that's being done.
All right.
But they'll keep the owners are going to keep the water, right?
Correct. Conservation easement extinguishes development rights,
Okay.
and also will provide, what can and cannot be done on the property. But basically, it'll never be able to be developed.
And it's not going to cost us anything?
No, they're donating it.
Aha. Wow.
So most has, some costs involved. There's legal fees and, drafting the documents, but San Anselmo, so far we may be actually asked to help share some of those costs, and I may be coming back to you at the next meeting with a proposal to help most with that.
All right. So what about public access onto the property?
There won't be any, as far as I know, there won't be public access.
So I just wanted to back around to the question I raised about sending the town subcommittee, the tree ordinance subcommittee, a letter, just letting them know the motion we made and what we voted on last meeting. Elise, would you say an email is sufficient, or actually type up a letter and send it over? What do you think would be the best way?
I think email would be fine. I think that would be fine.
Okay.
You'll do that, Stan?
Huh?
So you'll do that, Stan?
I suppose I'll just copy the language out of the minutes. I just don't know who is on the subcommittee. I know Alexa.
It's their council members. It's Alexis and John.
John Wright.
Just those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just send it to the whole council.
All right.
So I had a follow-up thing that's related to the trees. I had a long call today with Sean Condry, and we discussed the proposal that I put out to him, and I think Jonathan's seen it and Elisa's seen it, about starting a tree safety program to track and possibly mitigate trees that are in our open space or parks. And it was actually quite well received, and I found myself and him agreeing on almost everything that we discussed. And so he said that he's now submitted the proposal to the legal department, and they're reviewing it. And it's got some stuff in there about reducing legal liability for the town, but it's mostly about how you would implement a program. And if it passes that, maybe I'll bring it up as an agenda item for us to discuss as well at a future meeting. But the the really great upshot of the discussion that Sean and I had today was that it seems like he's also in favor of the idea of updating the tree ordinance, and loves the idea of having a tree committee of people made up from the various committees such as open space, parks, and planning and sustainability to then, deal with any permits and, any tree problems, not only on public or private, open space or parks, but, it'll primarily be the private trees. And so, not only that, but he and I, we're going to wait until after the election's over. Want to talk to the tree subcommittee and actually see if we can pull in a member from each one of these commissions to help actually craft the new tree ordinance to help push it along, to assist the council members. And so, this tree safety program sort of is a manual that relates to how the tree ordinance would deal with trees on open space or parks. So anyway, I was really encouraged by this call I had today, and it sounds like we can start moving forward with that. Hopefully after the election's over.
Sounds
Very good. All right, anything else on open time? Seeing none. Our next meeting, if we follow the format, the third Thursday is the 18th.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, we?
Huh?
Wednesday.
Yeah, the 18th, right?
Yeah, you said Thursday, Stan.
Oh, but it is the 18th.
Yeah.
This is Karen. I do have one quick announcement.
Yes.
Just to give you an update, I actually now have a scheduled meeting with the council next week to be considered to be reinstituted into the Open Space Committee, and we shall see.
All right.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks.
They're
And
tough.
by the way, Karen, I included you on the roster of committee members on our newsletter, assuming that you were going to be reinstated.
Yeah, I noticed. That was very nice of you. Thank you.
All right. So thanks for everybody for making your time this evening. And I think that's it, right?
It's been fun.
Okay.
Thank you, Elise, for putting up with
No
with
problem.
all of our drawn-out discussion on these boring topics.
It's okay. I wish I could help more.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I wish I was more of a new social selling on websites better.
Yeah, that'll be your next life, Elise.
So our next meeting will actually be on the 1st for the mailing.
Well, it's
Right.
not a meeting. It's not a formal meeting.
No, but I mean the next.
Oh, can I make a suggestion?
That's a good point. We probably have to do an agenda for it.
Yeah, I want to make a proposal that we give Elise a gift calendar for all of her support for our activities and being such a good sport.
That's nice. I don't mind paying for one.
No,
It
no,
looks beautiful.
no, I'll drop one off. Are you going into town hall at all, or
Every once in a while.
I can leave one there for you maybe?
Thank you.
You know, every once in a while, these things just fall off the back of the truck, Jonathan.
375. All right, guys.
Good night, everyone.
374. All right, good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.